大国应当承担国际义务，履行好大国担当，不能唯利是图，更不能恃强凌弱。
Have you ever pondered why powerhouses of the world sometimes articulate one thing, but enact something entirely different? In today's discourse, we're delving into a head-scratching paradox in global politics. The intriguing case of China and its modern stance on international relations. China's foreign recently made an utterance that may have caused more than a few heads to turn. He declared, "We should not intimidate weak countries," an admirable belief undeniably, yet one that seems to contrast strikingly with China's actions on the international stage. Ponder on the escalating frictions between China and the United States, powered by punitive tariffs and allegations of fentanyl smuggling. Or cast your eyes upon China's intensifying bonds with Russia amidst the Ukraine crisis. The issue doesn't end here. Take into account the complexities surrounding the West Philippine Sea controversy. China's aggressive territorial claims and actions in this disputed region have raised significant concerns among neighboring nations, fueling accusations of power misuse and coercion. These are not separate instances, but rather fragments of a broader puzzle that illustrates a scene far detached from the peaceful rhetoric articulated by the foreign minister. Why would China uphold such a noble principle while appearing to act in opposition to it? What could be the intentions behind these words? And crucially, what impact does this paradox hold for global politics and international relations? Could this be a strategic diplomatic maneuver, a smokescreen to conceal real motives, or perhaps something else entirely? Could it be a harbinger of a shifting global power dynamic, or is it indicative of a more intricate geopolitical game unfolding? These questions are not basic and they lack simplistic answers, but they are of immense significance for those wishing to comprehend and navigate the intricate maze of international relations. To decode this paradox, we need to delve deep into China's recent actions. This journey guarantees to be as enlightening as it is mesmerizing. So strap yourself in and let's embark on this expedition in search of truth together. Could China's words be a mere smokescreen while it follows a different set of rules? Let's delve into this question by examining a few instances where China's actions seem to contradict its words. Firstly, let's consider the ongoing tensions between the United States and China. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi has criticized the US for imposing tariffs and has warned that prioritizing US interests over international cooperation could lead to chaos. Yet China, too, has imposed retaliatory tariffs, indicating a similar prioritization of its own interests. Is this not a contradiction to its call for international cooperation? Next, let's talk about Taiwan. China has consistently voiced support for the One China principle, opposing US-Taiwan interactions. However, it welcomes Paraguay's openness to relations, despite Paraguay maintaining ties with Taiwan. Could this be seen as a subtle form of bullying, pressuring smaller countries into aligning with its stance? Finally, let's examine China's relationship with Russia. Amidst escalating global tensions, China and Russia are strengthening their ties, seemingly standing together against the rest of the world. And yet, China insists on resolving conflicts through political negotiations. But can we consider this alliance as a form of negotiation, or is it more of a strategic power play? In each of these cases, we see a pattern. China's actions often seem to contradict the principles it espouses. It criticizes others for prioritizing national interests, yet it appears to do the same. It calls for political negotiations, but its alliances suggest strategic power plays. It opposes interactions with Taiwan, yet it's open to relations with countries that maintain ties with Taiwan. So, where does this leave us in terms of China's credibility? What happens when a powerful nation's words don't match its actions? Let's explore the potential global implications of this intriguing paradox. Imagine a world where actions and words are disconnected, where promises are made only to be broken. This is the reality we face with China's contradicting behavior. Its recent statement, advocating against the bullying of weaker nations, is at odds with its own actions. So, what does this mean for us on a global scale? Firstly, let's consider international cooperation. When a country as influential as China shows a clear disconnect between its words and actions, it sows seeds of mistrust. Other nations may begin to question the validity of China's commitments to global agreements. If China can't be trusted to uphold its own statements, can it be relied upon to honor international pacts? Moving on, let's ponder the impact on the international order. The world operates on a delicate balance, with nations relying on each other to maintain peace and stability. When a nation like China, a major player on the global stage, acts in a way that contradicts its words, it threatens this balance. Could this lead to a breakdown of the international order? Finally, let's discuss global stability. Stability relies heavily on the predictability of nations' actions. However, if a country's actions don't align with its words, it becomes unpredictable, and unpredictability breeds instability. With China's contradictory behavior, is global stability at risk? The implications are vast and concerning. China's contradictory behavior could potentially undermine international cooperation, disrupt the international order, and destabilize global peace. As we unravel the repercussions, we must ask ourselves, can we trust China? When a nation's words and actions don't align, should it be held accountable? This question often arises in the complex world of international relations, where truth may sometimes be veiled behind diplomatic language and strategic actions. Imagine a world where words hold no weight, where promises can be broken without repercussions, and where actions can contradict statements without scrutiny. Would such a world not be chaotic? Would it not be a breeding ground for mistrust and conflict? This is why accountability is crucial, especially when it comes to nations wielding significant global influence. China's recent statement advocating against the bullying of weaker nations is a commendable sentiment. However, the reality of their actions paints a different picture. From the escalating tensions with the United States over tariffs to their stance on Taiwan and their strengthening ties with Russia amidst global crises, there seems to be a gap between what they preach and what they practice. This discrepancy is not just a matter of mixed messages, it's a matter of trust, credibility, and the stability of the international order. Can we trust a nation's word if their actions suggest otherwise? Can we rely on them to uphold international cooperation and peace if their practices hint at prioritizing self-interests? Accountability is not about pointing fingers or laying blame. It's about understanding that words have weight, that actions have consequences, and that every nation, big or small, should be held to the same standards of conduct. It's about creating a world where nations are encouraged to walk their talk, where they are rewarded for upholding their promises and penalized for breaking them. The potential consequences of China's actions are vast and far-reaching. They could disrupt the balance of power, escalate conflicts, and even lead to a breakdown in global cooperation. This is why we must not turn a blind eye. We need to question, to probe, to demand transparency and truth. As we question China's credibility, we must also question our role in maintaining global peace. Are we passive observers or are we active participants? Do we hold nations accountable for their words and actions? The answer to these questions will shape the world we live in. In this complex world of geopolitics, where does that leave us, the global citizens, one might ask? We're not just spectators in this grand spectacle of international relations. Far from it, we're integral participants. In this age of information, we have an immense power at our fingertips, the power to seek and disseminate truth. We're not just passive consumers of news and narratives. We have the ability to question, to probe, to dig deeper. When we hear statements like, "We should not bully weak countries," we have the power to scrutinize the actions behind those words. Are they in line with the stated principles, or do they tell a different story? It's in asking these questions that we can peel back layers of diplomacy and uncover the underlying realities. It's not just about China or any specific country for that matter. It's about holding all nations accountable for their actions on the global stage. We're living in a time where global issues are more interconnected than ever. Actions on one side of the world can have ripple effects on the other. As global citizens, we're all part of this intricate web, and so we have a responsibility to stay informed and engage in discussions about these issues. We can't afford to take things at face value. We need to question, to understand, to challenge. In the grand scheme of things, it's easy to feel like our individual voices don't matter, but remember this: every wave starts with a single ripple. When we question, when we discuss, when we share, we're creating those ripples, and together we can create a wave of change. Let's make it our mission to seek truth in this world of international relations. Let's strive to understand the complexities, to question the narratives, and to engage in meaningful discussions. Because in this global conversation, your voice matters. And so, we invite you to join us on this journey of discovery and understanding. Remember, your voice matters in this global conversation, so subscribe for more amazing content and keep wondering about the world we live in. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.